Hey guys. When I was 27 years old, it seemed like everybody I knew was coupling up. People were getting engaged. People were moving in together. People were like finding their person. And it was like, it wasn't just like my close friends. It was like high school friends, like college friends, and then like acquaintances and coworkers. Like everybody I knew was just sort of like getting together. And at this time in my life, I had just broken up with the very first girlfriend I had ever had. I was kind of a late bloomer, and I didn't have my first girlfriend until I was 22 years old. And with everybody else getting together and coupling up, I felt like really left out and completely alone. But at this time, I was living in Williamsburg with my best friend, John. He had been my best friend and is still my best friend since kindergarten. And John was the kind of friend where, like, in high school, when we were like 15 or 16 years old, on weekends when people were, other high school students were out, I don't know, at parties or just dating, getting laid, doing all the stuff that high schoolers do, John and I would be at my house having a sleepover, winning Sonic the Hedgehog again, and smelling each other's farts. And when I say smelling each other's farts, I don't mean that we would fart in the room and we could smell each other's farts. What I mean is that there was a cushion in my living room that held the smell of a fart particularly well. So we would fart into that, smell it, and then laugh our asses off. Those are the ties that bind, all right? It goes like war buddies, organ donors, smelling each other's farts. And so we were living in Williamsburg, and we were just living like the mid-20s dream. It was just fantastic. We never did dishes, or I never did dishes. We always had pop ice in our freezer, like at all times. You know the thing that like children have, those like plastic things? Delicious, wonderful. And we had an apartment full of furniture that we like found on the street. This was pre-bed bugs, so it was totally cool. He found this recliner. It was the most comfortable recliner you've ever seen in your entire life. We would just see broken TVs on the street, and it's like, doesn't matter if it works, pick it up. We're going to take it home. And like sort of like we'd find like an old Macintosh on the street, pick it up, And we had like a wall of like 7 TVs, one of which worked. And we thought it was the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? So we were living the dream, and it was amazing until John started dating Carrie. And my last friend fell. It was like the last dude in a zombie movie got bit. Do you know what I mean? And then I had to deal with new couple shit. New couple shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, wouldn't it be amazing? It's like, oh my God. I love you so much, you're amazing. Like, when you're doing the new couple shit, it's wonderful. When you're watching the new couple shit, it's hell. It just sucks. Like one day I come home from work, John is at my computer, Carrie's in his lap, and they're like looking up songs on my computer for LimeWire. That's how long ago it was. And John goes, Carrie kind of wants to hear Santa Baby right now. Wouldn't that be fun? And I was like, get out of my room. And one morning they wake up and John's like, hey Rob, do you have any marmalade? Carrie has a craving for some marmalade. No, I don't. And I resented the hell out of it. And if you guys think that this is some like man-child Peter Pan, I don't want to grow up thing, like, man, you're so correct. Because that's exactly what it was. Like, I couldn't be happy for my friend who found this like really great person. So the thing is, we had mice because of the way that we were living. And but John didn't want Carrie to know that we had mice, so we had to like keep it a secret because like she might not come over because it's gross. So we would all be watching TV, the wall of 7 TVs, and like a mouse would scurry along the floorboards, and we'd both look at each other like, and so to combat the problem, we got glue traps. I know. all right? Like, it's horrible, but they're really effective. And John would take care of the mice. He would take the glue trap, put it in a plastic bag, take a 10-pound dumbbell. Hey, man, I wasn't the one doing it. And I was able to convince myself that it was like, I was a good person for not doing it, but like, I wasn't stopping him either. You know what I mean? So it was more just sort of like a first they came for the mice and I said nothing kind of situation, you know? And so one day I come home and John and Carrie aren't there. And under our oven are 2 mice caught in a glue trap. One of the mice only had its hind legs caught in it so it could like move and stuff. And I was like, what do I do? I call John. He's over at Carrie's house. And I'm like, John, dude, what do I do to like, how do I fix this situation? He's with Carrie. He can't talk about mice audibly. So what he says to me is, if I were you, I'd lift some weights. So I knew what I had to do. I get a plastic bag. And I take it outside with the weight. And I lift it up. And I bring it down. And I'm like, I hope that like I killed them both. Like, what if one of them is alive? And I was like, so I bring it down again. And then I was like, I really need to make sure, and just, you know, and so I bring it down again, and I'm just sort of like whacking this like bag, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm killing mice, I'm completely alone, and I'm losing my best friend. Now, a couple years later, after John and Carrie had moved in together, Carrie told me the story in which John had taken out a pair of sweatpants that he hadn't used since we had been in the same apartment together. He shook them out, and a dead mouse flew out of one of the legs. And I look at John and Carrie, and I'm like, yeah, mice? What mice? And Carrie looks at me, and she goes, I knew about the mice. And of course she did, because she's smarter than me. She really is. Like, don't play Scrabble with her. It's like a nightmare. But, like, they live in Westchester now. They're married. They have 2 kids, and she's the perfect partner for my best friend. So thank you.